Hello everybody, my name is Alma Blue Graham, aka Grandma. I invented the Photo Family Tree Builder. Today in this video I'm going to be showing you how to use the tools inside the app. Let's get busy, shall we? This is the first screen that you will see after you logged into the application. You hit Continue Trial in order to continue to test out the application. The next block you'll see is you're going to choose the kind of tree. So in this case, you're only able to choose the copper tree because this is the trial mode. You are allowed to choose from 7 different species, being cherry, dogwood, gardenia, jacaranda, magnolia, maple, and oak. I'm going to choose dogwood. Next, you choose the size of your canvas. You have 4 sizes: 16 by 20, 18 by 24, 20 by 24, 24 by 36. I'm going to leave it 16 by 20. Also, you have the opportunity to change the orientation of the canvas from vertical to horizontal. I'm going to leave mine vertical. Click OK. This now is the tools being loaded up by the application. So what we're going to do is we're going to discuss each of the tools. So once you download the program, you'll be able to utilize the tools. We'll go over them one by one. The first thing I'm going to point out is the parts palette. And what that simply means is every tree that you build has approximately 62 pieces that are used or can be used inside the tree. So for example, you have different styles leaves, and each of the leaves means something. So let's run through that real quick. Here you have an adopted leaf. In case someone was adopted, you could use that leaf. Here is an adoptive closed leaf. What that means is if you don't have a picture of that individual, you could actually use that as a placeholder. Next, we have what we call the end cap. It means that you're going to decorate the trees with end caps. So these are 3 different end caps. This one, a flower. This is another type of a flower that hasn't bloomed yet. And of course, a little small leaf. Next, we have a half-brother leaf. We have a half-brother leaf open. We have his child. So for example, if you are in a blended relationship, he has children, you have children, you use those to designate the kind of family member. So we've got her child, his child. Let's go further. The regular leaf, I use this as if all the siblings come from the same parents, the same mother and father. I usually use this leaf. And again, this is a closed leaf. And this is our child. For example, you've got a blended family. He has children, you have children, but you decide to have a child of your own. So that becomes your child. Here are different quadruplet leaf. And of course, if you don't have pictures of the quadruplets, this symbol will allow you to use it until a picture becomes available. This is a quintuplet leaf. All right, so now we're going to go into the different hearts. There's a senior heart, which means that heart gets placed on the trunk of the tree, as you'll see later. Again, if you don't have a picture, you can use the non-closed heart. I call it a fill heart. This is a love knot, and that simply means not everyone gets married, but they do have children together. So this is symbolizing a union of 2 people that don't necessarily have been married. Again, we have another type of a leaf. This is a stepchild's leaf. This is a triplet leaf. This is a twin leaf, and that concludes the leaves in this particular copper tree. So this again is the parts palette. Here is the photo palette, and what it does is it allows you to import pictures that you're going to use in your family tree. You probably will have a folder inside your computer where you house all of the pictures. So you would hit import, and that, for example, this is my sample folder for my family. So what I can do is I can import these pictures individually, or I can import them as a group. Individually, I would do this. I would click on it and click OK. I want to do a group. I would then hold down the control key, choose the picture while still holding down control, and all three would be loaded in the object's name would be loaded and would import it into the file. So let's click OK. Now you see all pictures are there. Let's see what else this photo import does. Let's say you have two pictures. Well, let's go back. How do you put these pictures on the canvas? Well, let's just reduce this by going display, zoom, and I'm going to zoom it in 50% so you can see the whole tree on the canvas. Now, let's say you had two people, but you only needed one picture. What would you do? Let's give this as an example. We will click on the picture. You see it turn gray. It means it's selected. Now we will let go of the mouse and drag it over to the canvas. You see the X. I think this is the hardest part for people to really get. So before you do anything more, once you drag the mouse onto the canvas or place it onto the canvas, you don't have to drag it, just place it on the canvas. You see that the X mark there. What you want to do is you want to left click on the mouse and then drag while holding down the key, the left key on the mouse. You want to drag it to the right and drag it down to the bottom and let go. You will see the picture is now placed on the canvas. Now let's say, as I said before, you only want one picture rather than these two people. What would you do? You'd really, before you place it on the canvas, let's just delete that, you would hover over this picture and you would right click. The delete or edit button comes up, so you want to hit the edit button. Now what you want to do is you want to take one person out of the photograph. So you would, your left mouse, drag down and over to just get the person that you want, let go, and then you say crop, and then you go down and say crop or apply. Now you've got only that person in the shot, and then you put that individual in a frame of your choosing. Now let's go back, let's delete this, and let's go back and import that couple again because we're going to need them. Alright, so now that we've talked about the photo palette, we can go here to display and we can choose show grid. What it does is it shows you 1 inch increment all the way around, so you can kind of tell how big your pictures are in relationship to measurements, to actual measurements. And before you print the tree, you definitely want to hide these grid lines because they would print along with it. So now we'll go over to your object viewer. What does that mean? Well, we see the dogwood tree is on the canvas, and it tells us what object is on the canvas at any one time. Let's choose this baby's picture and we'll put it on the canvas. Let go. Now we see the dogwood tree and the photo. Let's delete it. And we delete this by going right click. Let me do it again. Right click, and we select the frame and we go delete. So now it's only the dogwood remaining. Now we'll go back to the object viewer. And so now you see what that is. And if we, as we go along, like, oh, there is something I want to show you here while I'm here. Okay, let's choose a leaf for the oldest child. And we'll choose our photograph and click, left click, pull it down and drag. And we want to make sure, since it's layers, we want to make sure this leaf comes to the top. We'll highlight it, make sure it's highlighted with the arrows. We'll right click and we will go to order, the word order, and then we'll say raise to the top. When we do that, that makes the leaf come to the over top. It's the first layer. So now we want to size it by pulling on the handles of the leaf, and also you control the way the leaf looks by pulling on the side handles. So we want this child's face more than anything else. So we'll pull that down, make sure we don't have anything around the top, and we just want her face. So we can now reduce the leaf, and we might want to reduce the picture by clicking on it, selecting it, and we've got as much as we can get. So we want now to group it and cut the edges. You see there are edges of the photograph still there. So what you do, in order to eliminate the edges, you will click on the picture. As you can see, it is selected. Then you would hold down the shift key on your keyboard. Then you would click on the leaf, left click. You will see now that the arrows have turned green. That means you're good to go to cut the edges. Right click and you find cut edges. Click the left button and it automatically cut the edges from the photograph. While it's still highlighted, click. Now what we want to do is group them. And we know it's grouped because the leaf and the picture moves and it turns blue. And that tells us that we're grouped. Also, I want you to pay attention. Now you see in the object viewer the word G, meaning group, and the Canon stock photo, the name of it, and now the leaf frame. So that tells us we're grouped. So I'm going to leave that for a second. We'll come back to it. And now what I want to show you is the mini map. Why do we need a mini map? Well, let's say we've got the display up magnified by, let's say, 200%. It would be very hard for us to navigate. So what this does is it helps us navigate around our canvas a little bit easier by going right, left, up, down. Let's change it back to 50%. Now let's talk about the properties box. That comes into play when you are using text. So let's show you. There's a little T over here on your left side. You click on it and you left click the mouse. It's telling you that now the text element feature in this application is ready for use. So let's type in a name. Let's call this young lady Joanne. So we type Joanne. All right. So do we want the text straight, or do we want to curve up or curve down? Let's choose curved up and OK. The word Joanne appears on the canvas. So we make it larger by pulling on the handles. So let's pull on the handles. And we see the word Joanne. Okay. Also, what we can do is change the color by clicking on fill and clicking on this little icon, and that shows you the different colors. So if we wanted to change the color to purple, let's say, we would hit OK and it would change to purple. Let's go back and change the color again. Let's say we want it white, because that might show up better on the picture. You see? So let's reduce it. All right. So what we can do is we can also group the text plus the picture by, again, you selected the picture and you selecting the text. So we will click on, left click the mouse and hold the shift key down to select the picture. They are both now selected. Right click and group. Now the three things are grouped together. And we could reduce that further. And we could spin it around and place it on the tree. One other thing I might add before I conclude this video, because you pretty much have seen all the tools, I want to show you how to manipulate each object on the canvas. So you can see the little arrow here. It has like an anchor. It's a move tool. It shows you that you're moving. You selected this object and you're moving it. Now let's say you want to rotate it. You click one more time and you'll see all the arrows, at least the ones in the corner, turns like an elbow. So if we want to rotate it to the right, we get that arrow and pull it up. If we want to rotate it, we get that arrow and pull it up on the left. If we want to flip it, let's say we want to flip the leaf. The way we do that is we highlight it to select it, right click, we go down to flip, horizontal or vertical, let's say horizontal, and the leaf, you see the leaf stalk now has flipped. But so has her name. It's now also flipped. You see, Joanne? So let's take that back. So if we were going to put, that tells us if we want to put text on it, we would have to do it after we do the flip. So let's unflip it. Go back, flip, horizontal, and now we're back straight again. And click again. We're going to rotate it, and we'll pull it down. We'll do one more before we conclude. We'll show you how the senior heart is done. So we're going to choose the picture of the married couple. We're going to left click the mouse and drag it to the right and down, and we will let go. Now we will go over and left click the heart. We will bring our mouse back to the canvas. We will left click and drag it down and let go. Now, in order to straighten this out because it doesn't look right, you want to go with your handles and get the roundness that you wish. And now we see the people there just probably the way we want it. They're about center. Everybody's head is in. And so now the heart is selected. We're going to now select the picture by clicking the shift button and left click on the mouse. Okay, that happens sometimes. So what we want to do is make the picture a little bit larger. That was a heart I made by mistake. Let's make this picture a little bit larger, because the picture has to be larger than the heart, unfortunately. So let's go back and reduce the picture just a wee bit, and we make sure that that works. There we are. Let's try it again. Select the heart, select the picture by left click and holding the shift, right click, cut the edges. And now right click again while the arrows are still green, and we will group. And now it is grouped, and we want to make it smaller, heart, and we will put it on the trunk of the tree. Again, we have to make it smaller to adjust by dragging on the handles, if that's the way we were going to do it. We could also, in this case, since the tree is awfully small, so what we want to do is first of all make this tree bigger by clicking on it and making it bigger by dragging on the handles also, and bringing it into proportion. And I would say that's about it. Now this heart does not look out of place. There we are. And that concludes how you used tools. There you go. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Head on over to photofamilytree.com, download the app, play around with it, then feel free to tell me what you think as we go forward and make more iterations to the application. I would really appreciate your feedback on what we can do to make it better. And just remember,